do all of that and more. The battle's done and won, brother. I grieve for him as well." And with his innate kindness, Harkin wrapped an arm around Keegan's shoulders. He was a hero, and never to be forgotten. And today, as he would want, as must be done, a new leader comes. With his blue eyes bright as the day, Harkin looked around at the crowd on the shores of the lake. "We honor him, and all who came before him, all who will come after." Now Harkin jabbed an elbow in Keegan's side. "Leave off the brooding. It's not as if either of us will come out of the water with Cossintord in our hand. More like to be Cara, as she's as clever in the water as a mermaid, or Cullen, who I know has been practicing holding his breath under the water these past 2 weeks." "So he would," Keegan muttered. Cullen, as fine a soldier as was born, wouldn't make a good chief. He'd rather fight than think. Keegan, a soldier himself at 14, one who'd seen blood, spilled it, knew power, felt it, understood that thinking mattered as much as the sword, the spear, the powers. More, come to that. Hadn't he been taught just that by his father, and by the one who'd treated him like a son? As he stood with Harkin, with so many others, all chattering like magpies, his mother moved through the crowd. He wished she would dive today. He knew no one who could settle a dispute as handily, who could deal with a dozen tasks at one time. Harkin had her kindness, their sister, Aisling, her beauty, and he liked to think he had at least some of her canniness. Taryn paused by Aisling, who chose to wait with her friends rather than the brothers she currently disdained. Keegan watched her tip up Aisling's chin, kiss her cheeks, say words that made her daughter smile before she moved on to her sons. "And here I have a scowl and a grin." Taryn ruffled Harkin's mop, gave the warrior's braid on the left side of Keegan's head a light tug. "Remember the purpose of this day, as it unites us and speaks to who and what we are. What you do here has been done by those before for 1,000 years and more. And all who took the sword from the lake, their names were written before ever they were born. If the fates deem who rises, why can't we see? Why can't you?" Keegan insisted, "who sees the before and the yet to come? If I could see, if you could or any, it would take the choice away." As a mother would, she put an arm around Keegan's shoulders, but her eyes, bright and blue like Harkin's, looked out over the lake and through the mists. "You choose to go into the water, do you not? And who lifts the sword must choose to rise with it." "Who wouldn't choose to rise with it?" Harkin wondered. "They would be Taoiseach." "A leader will be honored, but a leader carries the burden for us all. So they must choose to lift that as well as the sword. Quiet now." She kissed both her sons. "Here is Margaret." Margaret O'Kelly, once a Taoiseach herself and mother to the one now buried, had shed her mourning black. She wore white, a simple gown with no adornments but a pendant with a stone as red as her hair. They seemed to flame, the stone and her hair, as if they burned away the mists as she walked through them. She wore her hair as short as that of the fairies who streamed in her wake. And the crowd parted for her. The chattering ceased to silence that spoke of respect and of awe. Keegan knew her as Marg, the woman who lived in the cottage in the woods not far from the farm, the woman who would give a hungry boy a honey cake and a story, a woman of great power and courage who had fought for Talamh, brought peace at deep personal cost. He'd held her as she'd wept for her son, as he kept his word again and brought her the news himself, though she had known already. He'd held her until the women came to comfort. And then, though he was a soldier, though he was a man, he'd gone deeper into the woods to shed his own tears. Now she looked magnificent, and he felt a shudder of that awe inside his belly.